Well, hi everyone, this is Dan with Wise Money Tools, and I got a real simple question for you. Why do people invest? Well, at the core, it's really simple. It could be security, freedom, leaving a legacy. But for the most part, people want to know their money's safe, that it's growing, that it's working for them, so that one day they can stop working for it, trading time for money. But the reality, for decades, Wall Street has promised one thing, but really delivered another. 401ks, IRAs, mutual funds, annuities, these are some of the products that most financial advisors push, yet they're built kind of on a shaky foundation. The average retirement account is a tax bomb waiting to explode. Investors deferred taxes for years, only to face this huge IRS penalty, if you will, the exact moment that they need the income the most. And many of these portfolios from the beginning struggle just to keep up with inflation. And then after taxes, fees, investors are often treading water or even going backwards. And then there's the 4% rule. The idea that you can only withdraw 4% of your nest egg in retirement. That's devastating. Imagine working hard, saving $1 million. You're a millionaire, only to be told that you can safely live on $40,000 a year. Well, that's really not freedom. That's disappointment. And by the way, you're going to be taxed on that $40,000. And worst of all, Wall Street still collects the fees, win or lose. You take all the risk. They take most of the profit. And this is why so many investors today they kind of feel stuck. They're frustrated. They even kind of feel a little betrayed. Because for years, financial advisors have told clients, no, just stick with it, trust the plan, keep investing in these mutual funds, stick to the 60-40 split, ride out the volatility, you're going to be just fine. But unfortunately, the truth is kind of undeniable. There's market crashes that wipe out years of savings in just a matter of days or weeks. Inflation is silently eroding the average returns. And then again, taxes take the first big and oftentimes the last bite. And the result, a retirement system where millions of people work for decades only to realize that the plan didn't deliver. You see, the status quo is broken. Investors don't need more of the same. They need a new way forward. And while Wall Street sold the same old tired products, something extraordinary was happening outside the system. What was it? It's Bitcoin. Once dismissed and ridiculed as tinfoil hat, guys in the basement, it's now become the best performing investment of the last more than a decade. From just pennies to tens of thousands to now 100,000 plus per coin, outpacing stocks, bonds, gold, real estate, and not just by a little, but by massive margins. And now adopted by corporations, institutions, brokerage firms, ETFs, and even governments. Not just our government, but governments around the world. Bitcoin's actually proved what many long-term Bitcoiners suspected, that the financial future doesn't belong to Wall Street. It belongs to a decentralized, scarce, and transparent asset. But there's a catch. Bitcoin on its own can be somewhat volatile. To turn it into a foundation for wealth, you kind of need more than just Bitcoin. You need a Bitcoin strategy. And that's what we did. At Yield Holdings, we didn't just buy Bitcoin. We built a system around it. We kind of like to say, what Wall Street won't tell you, we turn into a strategy. Now, we have a patent pending process that generates Bitcoin and yield on Bitcoin unheard of in the financial world. Our strategy basically has three engines behind it. We got a Bitcoin treasury. This is where we're holding Bitcoin as a long-term appreciating asset. It's a reserve. It's for forward-thinking corporations and governments. And what they're doing, they're building treasury assets as well. But then we've got Bitcoin mining, not the mining you might have heard of or been used to. We're producing new Bitcoin daily, and we're stacking, again, the world's most valuable asset on the balance sheet. But then we have one other thing, a proprietary Bitcoin options strategy. Applying this strategy around the Bitcoin ETFs, what it does is it generates steady monthly income. Now, together, these elements transform Bitcoin from this volatile asset into a wealth system that produces cash flow and compounding growth. Think about it like this. It's Bitcoin with a yield. And this isn't speculation any longer. It's engineering. Now, let me introduce you to something very innovative, very unique, and it is an asset of Yields Holdings. It's a token. It's a coin. We call it CoinSurance. It's the income coin. What we've done is we've taken the strengths of two assets and we've coupled them together. You see, most investors kind of face this false choice. They either got to play it safe with bonds, CDs, or annuities, and then watch their wealth either crawl along or even fall behind inflation. Or they chase growth. They're trading stocks, they're doing high-risk ventures, and then they got to stomach that roller coaster of volatility. So what if you didn't have to choose? That's the breakthrough behind CoinSurance. It couples the safest asset in the world, which is life insurance, with the power of Bitcoin. So you get the safety of a policy, predictable tax advantage growth, liquidity and access to cash value, and a guaranteed protection for the family and for your legacy. Then you get the power of Bitcoin. You get the power of Bitcoin mining and the cash flow of options. Explosive long-term growth appreciation potential, Bitcoin production, constantly adding more to the Bitcoin treasury, and then the monthly generated income equals cash flow. When combined, something really powerful happens. The policy provides that safety net, the predictability, and the tax-free growth. The coin generates monthly dividends, often enough to cover the policy premiums. Now, together they created a system where one kind of fuels the other. It's a self-reinforcing cycle of safe growth and cash flow into and part of the highest performing asset that's ever existed. So this isn't just an investment, it's a wealth architecture system. Becoming a CoinSurance investor means you just don't wait for someday. You get to participate today. You get monthly Bitcoin dividends and they're sent directly to your wallet. And by the way, that wallet sits right on an app on your phone. And that kind of transparency means you get to see the results every single day, every single month, not quarterly or with annual reports. And for those who want to exponentially grow their wealth, they can continually compound their cash flow by reinvesting their monthly dividends. Now, on the other side of the coin, you have life insurance. You know, there seems to be a dozen different strategies and designs that help sell life insurance plans. You might have heard of infinite banking or BYOB, becoming your own bank, Kaizen, MPI, debt-free life, just to name a few. It's not that they're bad, some are better than others, but they all have limitations and ceilings. They work to a point, but none of them will build your wealth and produce the income that CoinSurance can. CoinSurance isn't just the life insurance strategy, it's a wealth building machine that uses life insurance as a tax-free source of liquidity, a safety net, as well as the legacy for your family or your business. Now, why is this critical? Well, you'll see for yourself when we build a design specifically for you. You'll see how the policy and the coin work together to assure liquidity, tax advantages, and dual purposing of your funds. And you'll see the income stream. Now, this income stream is generated in multiples compared to other investments out there. With CoinSurance, you own both sides of the coin. Well, let's take a quick peek at an example, if you will. Let's take an investor. And keep in mind, we have so much flexibility and can design these based around your situation. They don't have to be perfectly designed like this. This is just one example. Suppose we have someone that has $200,000 to start with. In this case, we'll put $100,000 into the policy and $100,000 into the CoinSurance. Now, let's be very conservative on projections and performance. Now, let's assume you're only going to compound your returns at less than half of what we think it will be. And let's say you do that for 5 years, and in 5 years, you want to increase your income. And let's say you decide that you're only going to spend half of the monthly cash flow from the coin, and the rest of it you're going to reinvest. Do you know that your income is projected to be $21,000 per month? That's $230,000 or more annually. And each month, the cash flow is actually increasing. Why? Because you're still reinvesting 50% or the other $21,000 of your income and dividend. In other words, it may start out at $21,000 per month in month one, but every month it will increase due to the fact that you're reinvesting more into the coin each month. Now, just 10 years later, you would have been able to spend $2.3 million in cash flow income, and the coin has increased its value to about $3.5 million. So can you kind of see the difference in what Wall Street, and other life insurance strategies have to offer, or even any other retirement plan compared to CoinSurance? Now, what if you wanted to spend more? Let's assume you compounded for 5 years before you begin taking income. The coin's going to have a projected value of right around $1 million. And you decide that you want to spend 100% of the income generated monthly and keep the principal intact right around $1 million. Well, we would expect that you could spend somewhere around $42,000 per month indefinitely, and again, still leave your family the coin balance of just over $1 million. That's over $500,000 a year in annual income. Now, there aren't many jobs out there that even pay $500,000 a year. And remember, you still have the policy, the cash value, and the death benefit to leave as a legacy, and it is the ultimate safety net as well. Now, to put this in perspective, if you had $1 million in a 401k, the Wall Street advisors would have you live on the 4% rule, meaning you could spend 4%, which is about $40,000. Can you imagine? Could you even live off $40,000? And by the way, you're a millionaire. Now, compare that to our projections of $41,000 per month. Now, I always have to put in this disclaimer. We may not hit these objectives, but so far in our real world experience, we've actually done better than what I'm showing you here. But let's just say we only produce a quarter of what our projections are. That's still over $20,000 a month or $240,000 a year versus the Wall Street way of $40,000 a year. And by the way, on that $40,000, guess what? You still got to pay taxes. Well, the results. The policy grows safely, tax-free, building liquidity and protection. The coin generates monthly dividends expected to cover policy premiums. Together, they create a cycle where predictable growth and cash flow basically reinforce each other. Now, as the coin and the policy owner, you end up with a bunch of stuff. A compounding, safe policy with a death benefit, monthly income from the coin to reinvest or spend, exposure to Bitcoin mining, and the proprietary BTC options. Again, the highest performing asset that anyone can own in our lifetime has been Bitcoin. And you do this with a patent pending process that generates Bitcoin and, more importantly, yield on Bitcoin. Now you are compounding your wealth at every level and doing what has not been done before. Again, getting yield on Bitcoin. So that's just not investing. That's literally building a personal financial engine. The coin's designed so that everything compounds. Your monthly coin cash flow paid in Bitcoin can compound. The tax-free growth of the policy and the liquidity inside the policy also compounding. Each element fuels the next, creating a compounding effect of exponential growth. This is why CoinSurance isn't just a product. It's really a wealth system. And you know what? We're just getting started. You see, with our proprietary app, it's going to deliver Bitcoin income with full transparency. But the future CoinSurance products that we're going to develop will actually expand to fit into other investment opportunities. And the patent pending application to protect our unique strategy already in the works. So the trajectory is clear. CoinSurance is building what could be the most profitable, transparent, and investor-friendly financial ecosystem in the world. You've seen the failure of traditional financial planning. Sadly, 401ks, IRAs, annuities just aren't cutting it. Retirees are struggling to keep their head above water. And on the other hand, you've seen the rise of Bitcoin. And now you see why we coupled the safest asset with the best performing asset to deliver daily income, monthly dividends, exponential long-term growth with a tax-free legacy plan too. So this is kind of our moment together to build your wealth, to build your income beyond what you probably thought was even possible, to create a safe, guaranteed policy with cash value, liquidity for your legacy, investing in the coin for monthly dividends, compounding growth, retirement income, spendable income, fund income. You now have the ultimate system of safety, income, and wealth creation. So don't settle. Let's step into the future of money. CoinSurance can have both the safest asset and the best performing asset simultaneously. So that's it for this video. Let's take this next step. Reach out to me and we'll build a design specifically geared to you and your situation. I think you're really going to like it. I think it's going to stimulate more motivation than you've ever seen in any financial product. So Until next time, take care.